Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the webinar. Today we are going mobile. I'm Jeff Finn, CEO at Realex, and with Matthew Smith, who is actually mobile. So he's in his car. He's going to be taking us on a great tour using the mobile app to show you what you can do with Realex in the field. So we will be talking about how do you get data in, adding records, editing records, bringing photos in, geocoding, creating stacking plans, voice dictation, updating your call history, your activities, and our new some new search tools that we have, including global search capabilities and my navigating from table to table without missing a beat. We'll show you how to take advantage of our great new pre-built groups, filters, and views so that you have special look and feel that works best on your phone based on what you want to do. Accessing deal rooms to know who's engaging with your properties, and then how do you outreach? How do you use the mobile dialer, phone, mail, and text, as well as share docs and data with your clients? So lots to cover in the Realex CRM mobile app. And then to be sure you have it and are aware, there is also a separate transaction manager app, and want to make sure you download the transaction manager app in either your Apple or Google stores, and you can then create your tours and tour books and collaborate with clients, enable them to go on tours with you with their phone or their iPad and rate and rank spaces, and even begin to negotiate terms on contracts. So lots to cover with the mobile capabilities of Realex. Matt is remote on his phone running this session. I'm going to turn it over to him. You'll see the phone and the how he's using it, and we'll go over, Matt, the inputs first. Let's talk about how do you get data in? How do you use the property photos, the geocoding, and get your voice dictation to take notes after a meeting or as you're touring space to make sure that you've got your history archived.
Yeah, fantastic. And hopefully everybody can see my screen. I thought being mobile, is probably the best way to do things. Is the proof is in the pudding here. You can see that I am in my car, or maybe you can't, but I'm sitting in my car. Just had a meeting with Ken. And as I go ahead and look in Ken's record, I can do quite a few things. One is before I meet Ken, I can always go ahead and send Ken a text message right through the program and let him know that I'm heading over to the office and see if he wanted anything from Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts in the way of coffee. I can also see any of the tenant information on Ken, any investor information on Ken, and then any additional general details that I might want to see prior to our meeting. Now, there's a lot of things that I can do in the field as well. Is I can go ahead and I can add a history right in the field. All I need to do is click on history, add history, and then I can type in that Ken at Flex Space in Eastlake. Now I can come over here and I can voice dictate notes. Now I'm on the webinar, so it's not going to allow me to do the voice dictation, but you can imagine doing the voice dictation there. I can go ahead and save that. Maybe I'm doing a property tour with one of my clients and I want to add this history to create a marketing activity report. I can do that as well by simply coming over here and clicking on project, and then I can attach it to 123 anywhere. And now that history is not only tied to Ken, and we can see that we were meeting in Eastlake to talk about flex space, but we also have the ability to tie that into a marketing activity report. As Ken tells me his new investor criteria, I can update that information directly from the field. And you might notice that mine here has personal details, market, and investor details. In the upper right-hand corner, you'll see a page that's turned over. If you simply select that, you can choose your different layouts. And that layout for me is just way too much. That one I don't like. So I have one specifically just for the mobile app with some small details on here that I need to know before I meet with Ken. While I'm with Ken, if I need to look for anything, I can hit the global search section up top, and I can type in anything I want. And as I type the information in, it's going to globally search my whole database. And you can see in here, I put an initial in, and it found Bob Jones at initial 3 and Antonio Mozilla. So again, if I'm looking for property information, company information, anything, I can type in the global search toolbar and it will pull up the information based upon the global data. So you'll see in here it says contacts, properties, spaces. Now I can click on properties and you can see it brought up those properties. So if I'm at one of those properties, I can bring that information up on the property to see the property details on my phone. I can also see other information, lease comp information, sales comp information, project information, or listing information. I can even search listings that are for sale right from my phone. So if Ken said, hey, what else is in the area? I can search that information. And if it meets Ken's criteria, I can add it directly back into my database for Ken's buying criteria or tenant criteria. So again, going mobile is super awesome. But one of the things that I'm going to tell you this, and I'm going to hop out of my car and see how this works, and you can hear my door clicking now, is we're able to do this via my phone. But while I'm at the building, let's make sure that we utilize our time wisely. So I'm standing at the building right now, and what I'm going to do is simply click on properties. And from properties, I'm going to hit my plus sign. Now, the property name, I don't really worry about too much. That's going to be the name of this industrial flex area. But my address, I'm going to simply click the address button. And now what it's going to do is it brought in the address here. So if anybody wants to send me any mail, that's where I'm at. I'm going to hit save. Now from here, I can add an owner in there. I can link it. I can use things like CamCard to take pictures of the business card and scans with Outlook and Gmail. Or I can simply save it for demonstration purposes. Now from here, I want to add a picture. Now just so everybody can see that I'm going mobile here, I'm going to take a photo. And now I'm standing right there in front of the building. Maybe I want to come back a little bit better because I think that building looks good. So this is the actually 2566. So now I can come over here in 2566 and I can say use photo. And now I can save that. And that's my default photo. Now, if I just want an assignment or anything like that, now I have the ability to, let's go ahead and find that property within inside my database. Now I have a lot of them. But we can use that global search toolbar here, and I'll go in 2566. Now, if I want, I can schedule I can go ahead and schedule and it looks like it didn't pull up in my global search, but again, if you wanted to, now we can go ahead and add in the rest of the information for the rent roll and so forth. I can also go ahead and I can add in the information and schedule an event for someone else in my office. Let me pull up one of my groups here for an example. Let me go in here and I'll say groups on, and I'll say my 300 Hempstead. Perfect. 300 Hempstead's in there. And I'll just pick one of these buildings, or let me go into one of my other ones in here. There's my door knocking one. This is probably better. Um, Again, now I can schedule a follow-up, and I can say to my admin, create marketing package, and then I can assign it to my admin here. The participant's going to be Jeff. Jeff, I'm sorry to do this, but you're going to create the marketing package. And everything that I put in via my phone is going to be available for Jeff to create that marketing package. Now, if I want to walk the building and I want to add each one of the spaces, I can simply do that. And I'm going to go in here and I'm going to come along and I'm going to say add. And I'm going to go ahead and put in here, this is going to be floor 1. And I'm going to save that. And then once I have that information on floor 1, I'm just going to go ahead and select it. And now I can go ahead and hit photo. And I'm going to take a photo, and this is going to be the entrance of the building right here. And now I can go ahead and use that photo and save. So you can see that it's super powerful. Not only can you go and meet somebody there, but you can also walk the building, whether it's an industrial building, an office, a retail, a flex building like I'm currently in right now, or multifamily property. You can take multiple pictures so you have all the details and all the information is usable at any time later, whether it's a presentation, comparative lease analysis, putting together a tour book, or anything else. You're going to be able to use this information at a later point in time. I can also do things like, Jeff, I think you mentioned the deal room. Well, now I'm here. I got done with my tour. I walked the building. But now what I want to do is I want to see who accessed my deal room, if anybody did. And I can see all my deal rooms right here. I can see my clients and my documentation. I can see their name in here. And then I can follow up and email each one of the clients if I want to from here. I can see what they viewed, what basic level they have, And again, if I just want to go over to their contact, now I can go ahead and give that client a call, click the phone. I'm going to give him on the mobile and click the mobile. And then I can see if Ken's interested in making an offer on one of my properties because he just accessed deal room. So there's a lot of functionality when you go mobile, being able to create histories, schedule follow-ups, add photos in the field, add your spaces, look at your deals, and again, even look at the lease listings that are on there. And I'll look here and here for lease, and I can easily go ahead and take Jared's property and add it right back to my CRM. And it will pull the information into the building as well as the photos. And now I have all that listing information right in at my fingertips. I can also see what I need to do on the daily. So I have renewal options, prepare counter offers, and create marketing package. Then after that, 2:30 hits and I'm going out playing golf because it is coming up to be Labor Day weekend. How are we looking on time, Jeff?
We've got plenty of time to cover. So you've covered the adding the property photos and geocoding. Well, you didn't talk about the geocoding, but when you get that address, you geocoded it. You covered sort of creating the stacking plan, the dictation, uh, the access. Now, what you wanted to do, and you jumped on it a little bit, was the layouts. That how do you create those so that you can access them here in the field? Your groups, your layouts, your views.
Yeah, and that's a great question. So back with inside of the web version, just log in through the web, Google Chrome, or anywhere else. You can right click on any one of the fields inside of there, and you can say edit layout. You can create as many layouts as you want. You can drag and drop the layouts. You can create a mobile layout, a retail layout, an investor layout, as many layouts as you want per contact, company, space, property, lease comp, and sales comp. You can also have multiple layouts per office. So if you're in an office building, you're in a company and your company has 15 different agents and you want to have a layout for each property type, or you want to have a layout for each person because there's some different personalities in their colors, you can do that as well. And again, you can adjust your layouts just by simply selecting that layout. Now that layout here for my personal one is set, but if I go into a property layout, you can see in here I'll have different property layouts and so forth once I click that, and then I can click on my different property. This one here is just a lender profile that I have with just lender detail information. And you can see how it changes each time. I can look up contact details. I can look up tenant details and call the tenants directly from here. And I can see things like their lease expiration and update their lease expiration directly from my phone.
So Matt, let's say you mentioned it earlier, but you didn't try to do it. So I want to text my prospect after the meeting, just say, hey, great to see you, and I want to record that as a history in my activity events or event history.
Yeah, so we'll just go in here and I can click on mine and I can go ahead and say it's going to be an outgoing SMS, and then I can add my message. Now, since I'm on GoToMeeting or GoToWebinar, it is a little bit difficult for me to do some of that stuff, but now it's going to go ahead and send that. It'll send that message for me right through there, and it failed because I'm not going to go ahead and text Ken right now. But what it would do is it would record that history for you right on your iPhone, or if you can text from your iPad or anywhere else that you can text from in the mobile app. You can also do it directly from here. If you click these three little dots, you don't have to open each record. A lot of people think you have to open each record. You don't. So if you're sitting in your car, and I'm outside of mine right now, and you want to go down and you want to just start banging out calls because you have them in your group, all you need to do is hit those three little dots, and now I'm going to go and call Steve. Now I'm going to go and call Tim. Now I'm going to go and call Richard. It's fast. It's super fast to
So
start knocking out all those calls.
after we met, if you wanted to share, I was interested in a listing, or you had a couple of comps you wanted to share with me, or maybe there was a lease proposal you wanted to get over me. How do you do that from your phone?
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, a couple things that you can do is you can share pretty much anything in here. You'll look for the little share icons, and I'm not sure if you know what the share icon looks like, but it's like a
It's the
like
top right of the screen, the little triangle.
yeah. I guess you want to say just the triangle right there. Now I can share it to Jeff. There you go. There's my property details. I just sent the information over to Jeff. Now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to take my marketing package and I can share my attachment. And now I can go ahead and share my attachment with Jeff now. So he has that attachment there right there. And that was just a photo. So again, now I can share that information. I can also get directions if I need to get directions by hitting this button right here. And now I can go ahead and get directions to 123 Anywhere. 123 Anywhere is only 32 minutes away from where I'm at. So I'm relatively close to anywhere.
Fantastic, Matt. Let's see. I don't know if there's any questions on the Realnex CRM mobile app. But one was, if you take additional pictures, how do they show up on your phone? How do you access the library of pictures?
Super good question. So, um, whenever you want to go ahead and take pictures, you're going to have an option in here after you go ahead and take that photo. And I'll just put this right in here. There's my cup holder. And I'm going to take that picture. And I got to clean out my car. Jeez. So now we got my cup holder in there. And again, this is everybody there. See where it says default image? I can set that as the default image or not. Now, it didn't change my image. Why? Because I didn't set it as my default image. So now that's going to be in there. I'm going to delete that photo. I don't need it in there. But that's where all your photos will be stored. And when you're on your web version through the web browser, you can actually click the arrow left to right and you can see all the different pictures that are in there. And then if you hit Analyze Market on a property, it'll bring those photos and start to create your flyer, your brochure, your handout, leave behind, listing presentation, valuation. Also, similarly, it does the same thing with the space information for the space details when you're doing a comparative lease analysis.
So just real quick, I think you went through it and didn't quite capture it. Go to now where you would, if you want to do a property, where you'd find all the pictures.
So you just go over and click on the property and then click on files. And right here, you'd see all your files, including your photos.
So just to be clear, just go back again. On the bottom right of your screen, when you go back to the Mac, just go back to the property. The bottom right, there's a one, two, three, four, fifth icon over. It's called Files. So that Files box has your photos in it, as well as other documents, right? So you'd have other.
Yeah, all your documents can live there. And then you can see I put in there the property or the type is a picture. So I know it's a photo. But I can put multiple types in there, whether it's a photo, it's an offering, or anything else. And I can even add additional descriptions. So if I wanted to edit the description, I can edit the description and say, main photo or anything else. And I can do it all from my phone.
Excellent. So now let's jump in, Matt, if you could. Let's go to the transaction manager, unless you had anything else you wanted to share with the RealNext CRM.
Nope. I think we're good on that. You can see here's all my tours in the Realex Transaction Manager. If I have any updated tours, and I typically do that, you're going to see down there it says that little #1 button. Do you see that #1 down there, Jeff? It just popped
Yeah,
up.
the bottom of your screen in the
Yep.
red.
That means I can download an additional tour. So I'm going to go click in the upper right-hand corner, and then I'm going to say download tours, and that will allow me to download those tours. Now, I might be low on internet here and going sporadic, but that will allow me to download. Whoop, there we go. So sorry, I'm having a little bit of bandwidth issues, but you can see now it went away and it says Realnex Remax demo. And now I can click on here and I can see the properties we're getting ready to go tour. Now from
So
here,
what's beautiful about this is not just for you, but this is to share with your client. So you can share this app with your client. They could download that tour and then be in the tour with you.
yeah, and I'm actually not the one that created this tour. Someone else created this tour. So Jeff, so this is exactly what we were talking about. We can see the information on the space itself. I can see any additional photos that were uploaded. I can see any notes that were made, or I can add some notes. And let's go here, add some notes. And then I can see any floor plans, photos, but more importantly, ratings. I like the location. The accessibility is pretty good. Security, not so much. Office is great. Loading is great. Power works. We check the power with our meter here. Clear right's awesome. And rent is bad because I want my broker to go ahead and negotiate that for me. Now I can go here and I can take this information, and this information could not only be from me, but if everybody on this call was part of this tour, you would get not only a score for yourself, but you get a cumulative score. So you can imagine if Jeff and I are touring with you, and Jeff likes certain things and I like certain things, well, now we can have a meeting of the minds and we can get a cumulative score versus just getting an individual score, and it can really help you shortlist it. What also it does is it limits me to how many properties I can see based upon what I have in here. So say Jeff loaded up 20 properties for us to look at. And then as we're going through before the tour, I said, hey, I think number 7, number 5, number 8, number 11, number 12 aren't going to work for us. Jeff can remove those ahead of time, and it updates everything digitally for me on my end. So it's really important to understand this is always an evolving tour. So as you're adding more properties, it's adding them to the tour. As you're removing properties and archiving them, it's removing them from the tour. And then you can keep track on all the floor plans, the photos, the flyers, everything via the web. Now, some of the things you can do as well is when you're on your web version through your browser, Chrome, Microsoft, whatever you use, you then can start keeping track of your proposals, your tenant response, the owner response, tenant response, owner response, and you can compare and contrast them. You can even do a comparative analysis between these 5 properties that we're going to look at right here, all directly from the Realex program.
What's nice too, Matt, and you mentioned that you could create notes in here, but those notes also become valuable insight. The client can also take pictures in the app. So if you have 3 clients going on the tour with you, they're taking notes, they're taking pictures, things that they want to remember. So at the end of the day, at the end of the tour, they're not all blurry-eyed trying to remember which was which. They have all of their information consolidated in a nice comparative matrix with all of their notes and history, but you have all of that as well. So it gives you incredible insight into what resonated with them, what didn't, and what you want to highlight as you go back and try to narrow down and negotiate terms.
And you can see here, I just added a photo. See how the photo's in there already?
Yeah. So you have the icon at the bottom. You can get the details of the property. You can plot it on the map. You see your notes as well as floor plans. If you had floor plans for the space, you'd be able to upload those, and they would all be in the package as well. So great collaborative tool with your client. Free for the client. So with your subscription, you can share unlimited sharing with the app and invite unlimited people into tours. See Eric on a call with us. So we had a great experience this week where Eric, the CCIM in the Florida chapter, and was doing a bus tour. So this wasn't a client tour, but it was a great use case where he asked me, we talked last week and he said, can I use the tour book to do our bus tour to show some other CCIMs the market? And we put together a tour like this, and not only created this app output, but a PDF, sort of a print version or PDF electronic version that everyone on the tour could download and scroll through and keep along. So thank you, Eric, for arranging that and setting us up. It seems like it went well.
And now what I'm doing is I'm just looking for additional spaces for lease before I head out on vacation here. And I went back in the app, and you can use the app simultaneously and just flip back and forth from them. And you can be mobile all the time. Hopefully this was a good experience for everybody to see what it's like for me being mobile. I do apologize if I went too fast or ran through some things. It's extremely difficult to manage the apps and going through this as well as going through the GoToWebinar. So if anybody has any questions, I'd love to go over those slower. And if you found this helpful, we'll continue to do that.
Couple of things, Matt. We didn't show it, but I see it on the menu option. It talks about deals. How do I see my deal rooms and what's going on in the deal room?
Yeah, so we did talk about it, but we'll talk about it again because I think it's super important. Jeff is out in Florida and he is getting ready to hit a storm, so he might not have seen it, or I am that fast that he didn't even see me access this. But he's right, and this is something that's really neat. Is as much as I like to take vacation, I'm always checking my phone, and now I can go and see my phone. I can see how many people logged into my deal room. I can send them a message. I can look at the documents they viewed. I can see the view levels. I can see the additional documents. I have a roll up of all the information. I can see things in here right here, like my LOI and my plans and everything else. You can see how interactive that is. But I can go add my clients in there. I was showing a client yesterday that sent out a marketing package attached, and I was like, shame on you. Put that in a deal room link. Even if it's just a package, this is a lead generating machine that you can see here that you have 20 new leads, and who are they? And this information then can tie back in your project, which you can see in here as well. So if I go click on projects, and now I go into 123 Anywhere, now I can go ahead and see some of that information in there as well, that, hey, look, I do have him as a lead in here, and okay, fantastic. He was a lead and he did access the deal room. Well, now maybe it's time to give him a call. You can also see all my activity in here that has been generated for updating lead statuses. I can look at my commission to make sure I can take a vacation. And then I can see all my history in here that I did earlier. And you can see earlier right there, my phone call with Ken at my flex space in Eastlake is tied right to that project. So then it creates that marketing activity report that we need to send out every week to our owners and let them know all the leasing activity and the sales activity on their building. So it's super powerful to have it, all the power you need in your fingertips, and it's easy to use. Some of our clients use this exclusively. Other clients use them both. No problem. Enjoy it on an iPhone, iPad, Android, or Android tablet, anywhere, any place, anytime.
So just go to your iPhone or Google Play Store, look for Realex CRM. Make sure it's the cloud version. If there's two, there was an older version out there. It should be taken down, but just make sure you have Realex Cloud CRM or and you see the icon, or Realex Transaction Manager, the two apps. And Matt keeps sending me comps, so I might have to buy one of these deals. Thank you, Matt, keeping me up to speed on all these opportunities out there.
That's how I do it when you go mobile.
Yep, and you can verify your contacts, verify information. Just click of a button and see if there's any questions. Some questions coming in, Matt. How do you sort projects? Can you see just the active projects here?
Yeah, so in my projects, I should be able to sort by them, and I can sort by different things, project type, project status, and then I can go here and I can add a filter onto it. And then if I want to filter things like,
So Matt, you're saying you're doing them, you're not showing how to do it. You can't really see where you're clicking. So if you just describe where you're accessing these different panels that you're going to.
oh, interesting, I had no clue. Well, that makes it more difficult. Okay, so here's 1501 Paris Pike. I'm going to click on 1501 Paris Pike. And you can see the information on here, and it shows it's an active deal. But since I have all these deals here, I'm not sure which ones are active and not. So if you click on filter at the bottom left-hand corner, see where it says next to status, it says filter off. I can click on my filter, and you'll see, and it says status. Now status, I just want to go ahead and have active, and now I can say active and checkbox, and it will filter all my active deals. Now I might have spelled active wrong, but that's the idea, how you can get the filter there for it, and then I can clear my.
Right next to it, if you just did the sort by status, right, you'd see that as well.
Correct. Yeah, 100%.
So why don't we try that? It might help. Just go by click on that status, and then you pick sort by status, and what's the order? And
Yeah,
these will
now,
show up.
yeah, all my properties in here are active, so it's probably a bad example, but it would show which
But
ones are active and so forth.
yeah, so I think the active we like offer. If you want to see things that are negotiating or in process, you'd see them by. But anyways, that's how you do it. You go to either status and or the sort by status and filter, or you can go to the full filter and get it by any of the criteria.
Yeah, and then you can even
Excellent.
put them into groups if it's easier.
Yep. So I think we are good, Matt. And if there's any last minute questions, or you have any last minute comments, we can wrap it up. And thank you everyone for joining us. We appreciate it. Hope you have a great holiday weekend, and we will see you next week.
Thanks, everybody.